Alright, slouching towards Bedlam time. I'm going to try to just quickly try to reload this for a very brief second, just because I don't remember if it has more before that first line of text that's there. Do. Open. Oh, there it is. Alright. Clunk. The rotating tin cylinder within the phonograph vibrates slightly as a brass needle scrapes against it. The sound of a throat being cleared emerges from the horn shell speaker, followed by a thin, haunting voice. March the 16th. A deep, shaky breath. I dread to say it, but I believe I am going mad. The moments come more frequently now. I fear that I have found what I have sought, and I shall now pay the price for it. The scrape of a chair across flagstone. A sigh. Chaos treads the halls of Bedlam. Her work is evident everywhere. Slouching towards Bedlam. A whole bunch of credits. Boop. First time players should type about. We might type about once we get to the command prompt, I think. Office. Cool. A massive cedar desk, well polished and worn, looks elegantly out of place among the chaos. Papers, files, and books cover nearly every flat surface in the room. There is a phonograph on the table near the window. A black cube sits on wheels near the door to the south. I should get a page ready for mapping, shouldn't I? Just in case. Just in case. Okay, so what happens when we press about? I haven't actually... A few brief notes. Regardless of how the game responds to them, all meta commands, save, restore, restart, undo, quit, work as you would expect them to. A conversation is best handled by the following syntax. Ask person about topic, tell person about topic, person order. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, okay. I don't need a map. Good to know. Note that it is advantageous to ask the same topic multiple times. Hints and spoilers are available via the hint command. Slouching towards Bedlam contains multiple endings. You may wish to go back and try different actions, or attempting to reach different goals to see how your actions affect the story. How your affections act on the story. Whoa. Author can be reached at da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Let's look again. Okay, same description. The phonograph continues to play. I discredit my profession, examining madness as if the world were a fluent thing, and sanity as malleable as the warm wax of a candle. Picking up a Lovecraft vibe, maybe a Poe vibe, we'll see. Okay, let's examine the papers. They appear to be of little consequence. The secret lays heavily on both my mind and heart. I have told no one. I despair a second opinion would confirm my worst suspicions. I have secured all my knowledge of these events within the mechanical assistant left by my predecessor. It was my hope that it would allow me to see the situation from a new perspective and help me discover the key to my salvation. Well, don't spoil anything yet. I haven't gotten stuck yet. We're still sitting in the office. Okay, so the papers are of no consequence. No such thing. Okay, so I can't... damn you, Infocom. Damn your Z-World. Damn it for making me type out full words. A delicate device. It's carved from oak and heartwood, bearing a small plaque which reads, Columbia Phonograph Company, Limited of London. So we're probably in London. Two ivory arms emerging from the base lean inwards, firmly grasping a rotating tin cylinder labeled March 16th. A brass needle scrapes against the cylinder's surface. From the base's back emerges a small, black horn-shell speaker, its surface delicately curved. The phonograph is currently switched on. Alas, it has been to no avail. While I found the entry mode easy enough, the thing seems filled with information regarding the hospital down to the point of minutia. and it seems helpless in the face of analyzing my current situation. Okay, so, looking again. It may be that I simply have not found that by which this growing mystery may be unlocked. Perhaps by subjecting the triage to further experiential data, it may find something that I have missed, but I have little faith left at this point. So, this is a good start. Like I said, I picked this game specifically for the Solstice because I presumed it would have a sort of an eerie gothic vibe, which is kind of what I dig. So I think we're going to get there. And man, I am really glad the Solstice is coming, you guys. Okay, so I guess I have to examine the cube. Not a box, but a cube. There is no hinge. A fine grid is engraved on its top, dividing it into a myriad of tiny squares. The cube sits on 4 black rubber wheels, attached by a set of brass leggings that seem capable of telescoping downward. The only other feature of note is a small emerald set in its side, beneath which is a plaque with the inscription, Triage Mark III. The sound of a chair creaking. I have found a blessing in James. He has been nothing but kind and helpful in my short time here. I find myself wondering if perhaps he can be trusted enough to... But how can I punish him with this knowledge? A sigh. But how can I bear it alone? Someone's been to E621. Ooh. Pressing the emerald. From within the device comes a sharp clunk, followed by a gentle humming. The emerald blinks slowly, once, twice, then glows steadily. The grid of squares which makes up the thing's screen pivot back and forth, seemingly at random, causing ripples of motion across its surface. With a sudden purpose, they begin to flip, revealing hundreds of tiny symbols engraved on their surfaces. The squares continue for a moment, then begin to settle, line by line, like the fall of rain into a pattern. Init, cycle, comp, mill, unit, online, store, decrypt, compress, boot, stack, comp, opsysting version 3, registered, Dr. Simon Brand, set mode, analyze. A sudden noise, as of something wooden being struck, comes through the phonograph. No! I can trust no one, in the end. Not even James. Perhaps soon, not even myself. Summoned Pinhead. Actually, no. Has anyone read a book? It was a collab between William Gibson and Bruce Sterling called The Difference Engine. Because this flip screen display is reminding me an awful lot of The Difference Engine. The emerald's light cuts off as the squares flip back to their original blank state. Triage's humming slowly lowers in pitch and volume until finally it is silent. I must stop here. I feel the faintness coming once again. A scraping noise. A click. May God have mercy upon my soul. Oh, I know what he's going to do next. Alright, well, let's... A massive... Okay, so, wait, oh. Oh, now that I've looked at it, it's actually named Triage now. That's neat. Having reached the end of the cylinder, the phonograph shuts itself off with a tiny click. The ivory arms slide easily apart, and the cylinder leaves the phonograph with a slight click. There's an awful lot of clicks going on so far. Okay. I haven't examined the desk yet, have I? A deep green blotter, dotted with ink stains, sits in the center of the desk, mostly covered by files and papers. One side of the blotter seems slightly higher than the other. The corner of a sandalwood box is visible beneath a stack of thick folders. The desk contains a large central drawer, which is currently closed. I was experimenting with turning on this text-to-speech so I wouldn't have to talk the whole time, but I think that would slow it down too much. I asked my Twitter feed about it and didn't get a response, so... Okay. Beneath the blotter is a small key, easily taken. It carries a small tag labeled 2D. One cannot take what one already has. Oh, I auto-taked it. Cool. Alrighty. And my phone is doing it again. Alright. Let's see here. The sandalwood box opens, revealing a tin cylinder labeled January 8th, a tin cylinder labeled January 22nd, and a tin cylinder labeled March 2nd. We got some listening to do. Got a whole bunch of Victorian podcasts here to go through. Oh. As I momentarily forget how to misspell 8th. 8th! I said 8th right there in the goddamn... I did misspell. Did I I can't spell 8th anymore. Thank God it's spelled out right there on the screen. There are too many H's in 8th. In cylinder. In phonograph. What? I already took out the March 16th. You only understand the desire to look. Do you understand my desire to be understood? Ah, there we go. That took way too much time to figure out. Play January 8th. Nestled carefully into the phonograph's waiting ivory arms, the tin cylinder labeled January 8th begins to play. January the 8th. I am uncertain if this entry is made in joy or sorrow. I have just received word from Dr. Yates, poetry reference, that I am to be promoted. I am uncertain if that term is the correct one. In any case, it seems there's been an incident with Bethlehem's current superintendent, and a replacement is required. I have been chosen for the position, at least in the short term. Tonight's quaff, by the way, is hot apple cider, which is appropriate for a cold winter solstice. Okay, so while we've got a podcast playing, we can examine some other stuff. Let's see. Let's re-examine the desk, because I don't quite... Deep green blotter. Okay, I've got all that stuff. The drawer. Haven't done the drawer yet. It is fairly obviously what has prompted this move. I have moved too far, too fast, and in doing so have displeased the powers that be. While Yates has supported my unorthodox theories well enough, he has warned me often enough that he cannot shield me from all of the backlash that may occur. I do not believe that this is as a segue. I do not believe that his using this as a segue way to tell me of my transfer was entirely unconnected. Ouch, that's awkward sentence structure. The large central drawer opens, revealing a manual and a flanged brass rod. Bedlam seems both purgatory and paradise at this moment. I remember the history of the place well enough, of the governor's decision to renovate the site in 15, and the slow implementation of Urquhart and Bentham's now famous Panopticon plan. Panopticon is never a good word to hear. In the end, it was nothing more than a final stab at respectability for the site, which has now languished as a home for the hopeless, the poor, and the criminally insane for almost 20 years. Jeremy Bentham. If there's a history there in the real world, I don't know it. So feel free to drop an info dump on the chat. Let's see. Okay. Get manual taken. But the technology! Yates told me of a visit he took in the 30s when the place was still open as part zoo, part living drama. Reality television? I paid little attention to his description of the patient's conditions and instead seized upon the description of the central tower and its prism viewer, by which the entire complex could be overseen by a single man. The massive archives with their engine-run filing system. Now I shall see it with my own eyes, and I am both happy and sad at the thought. Okay, let's see. Triage Personal Analytical Engine. Oh, that thing is a laptop. Ha! Cool. Very, very reminiscent of the Difference engine. The manual has several headings. Cover, The Future is Now! A brief catalog, Analysis mode, Optional expanded input mode. Okay. Jeremy Bentham's severed, stolen, and poorly preserved head is back on display. Oh, that guy! So one of my guilty secrets that I'm going to confess to the world is that I really like watching videos about creepy top 10s. Urban legends and other stuff like that. I don't believe any of it necessarily, but I find it absolutely fascinating. And I love myself a good creep. And yeah, Severed Head Guy has shown up in a bunch of those types of videos. Oh my god. And I wonder if he's spinning in his grave or just rotating just a little bit at being known as the severed head guy. Okay, so let's see. What does the cover have to say? Emblazoned on the front cover is a charcoal drawing of a black box on wheels, beneath which is written the words, "Don't panic." I mean, Operator's Manual. Triage Personal Analytical Engine, Professional/Industrial Mark III. Please press space. Ah, the future is now! The future is now! One glance at the Triage line of personal analytical engines will show them to be the finest now available. Each one is made of materials of superlative quality. Its thousands of interlocking parts are handmade and hand-assembled. Jesus! The Victorian version of Foxconn must be horrifying. From its alphanumerical kinograph display to its specially designed internal power and propulsion systems, the Triage is simply the most advanced technology made available to professionals for the portable storage and analysis of complex information. In fact, the Triage is so incomparably the best machine made that all we ask an intending purchaser to compare it with is to compare it with any other before buying. For sale by all first-class machinist shops. Again, I just ran straight into that sentence like I was hitting a wall. A brief catalog. Cool. A brief catalog of the Triage, both within and without. Pen optical scanner. Set within an attractive faux emerald, Triage's latest version has updated both its scanning technology and methods such that it can visually analyze a given subject and begin processing within seconds. Increased capacity of both mill and store. The Triage line is now capable of analyzing, compiling, and storing internally literally thousands of pieces of information simultaneously. Latest core engine with fourfold increase in efficiency. Triage has always been famous for its relational algorithms and its capability in connecting seemingly disparate data into a coherent whole. Our latest edition strives ever closer to perfection, improving the system's already impressive functionality. Okay, I'm scared. Smooth operating, fully alphanumeric kinograph display. With its compact yet expansive 16:8 symbol display, each one capable of displaying any one of 36 characters, the Triage speaks as well as it listens. I don't think 16:8 has been an impressive video display since the 70s. The 1870s. Ow! Analysis mode. Analysis mode is the Triage's default and most important mode of operation. Once activated by simply pressing its beautiful faux emerald scanner, they're really pushing this faux emerald thing. The system will run through its initializing phase and then notify the user it is ready to begin. The Triage will then follow its identified operator of its own accord, utilizing pathfinding and obstacle avoidance algorithms of the latest design. The system is both constantly aware of its own personal environment and the actions of its operator. Once Triage has locked on to its user, operation is simply a matter of making the system aware of particular objects in the environment for analysis and storage. This can be accomplished simply by pointing or gesturing to the object in question. Nothing more is necessary. The system will reply via kinograph display of any pertinent data the operator might find of use. Triage store data is organized as follows. Cat, category. Triage maintains a strict hierarchy within which all subjects are stored. Is the object in question alive? Is it a tool? Is it not yet recognized? Utility. Of what immediate use is the object in question? How may it be interacted with? Part, particulars, specific information of the object. Completed analysis data is often stored here. Cool. So we're going to be playing with that thing for most of this run, I guess. That is nifty. Optional expanded input mode. Can be utilized to directly enter information into the Triage's database store. Such data manipulation is not to be taken lightly, as all Triage data must be kept as consistent as possible to prevent internal errors. However, advanced users may find it convenient to input information into the system immediately rather than allowing the system to accrue it via examination and analysis. Expanded input mode requires the optional data input system, which is not sold with the basic triage. Contact your local machinist to special order yours today. Okay, this thing sounds cool. And back to the office. Man, I interrupted the entirety of this just to read a manual. That's great. Some DLC for you. I was thinking more it was going to be like an actual physical, like a bunch of brass typewriter key things. I have but a fortnight to prepare for the move. It has been made clear to me that this is a test. I must prove myself good, quiet, and respectable in the eyes of the governor. With luck, I'll be back at Bedfordshire within half a year's time, ready to take over when the good doctor announces his retirement. God, I wish I had a British accent right now. Okay. What else was in the drawer? Nothing unusual. It sits unlocked and open. In the large central drawer is a flanged brass rod. Perhaps this will not be so bad. In the public eye, I shall play their game, and meanwhile I shall continue my own research, utilizing whatever materials Bedlam has to offer. Thank God. Taken. Having reached the end of the cylinder, the phonograph shuts itself off with a tiny click. Okie doke. I don't remember what the dates were. It is unexceptional, perhaps 1 hand breadth wide by 3 long. On the lid is a white paper label. Written upon it in a fine copper plate are the words, Journal V4, January through April 1855. In the sandalwood box... Oh, I've underestimated when this took place. In the sandalwood box are a tin cylinder labeled March 16th, one labeled January 22nd, and a tin cylinder labeled March 2nd. Okay, so... The ivory arms slide apart easily, etc., etc. It's a click, and the tin cylinder, labeled January 22nd, begins to play. January 22nd. Arrived in London in preparation for taking over my duties. The cab driver took what seemed a scenic route through Smithfield, and generally southward toward Newgate. I covered my nose as best I could when we passed the slaughterhouse that was the market, although I noticed a machinist's shop, Dumont's, on Fleet, which I will try to visit at my earliest convenience, as my worst fears regarding the wireless have been confirmed. He doesn't have good cell service. Okay, well, let's examine the rod while we listen to the podcast. A short brass rod with a flange at one end, engraved with a 6, and a series of tines at the other, perpendicular to the shaft. Eh? It probably says something profound about me that I set up the magnetophone first, while everything else remains boxed or is still in its way from Bedfordshire. As I feared, I found no signal whatsoever. A simple message of calling CQ went completely unanswered, which is unheard of. There is always someone listening, particularly in a city such as London. Messed that sentence up. I fear the buildings are blocking the signal, and I'll require a booster of some sort. A flange at one end. I'm sorry, I'm hung up on... That's my DS stylus. That's not a pen. Cool. I've been wondering where that stylus was. Right, okay, so... a flange at one end, and then a central shaft, and then it says 6, and then it's like... So... Like this? Is it a key? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of weird Victorian IKEA Allen wrench. Okay. Okay, mostly covered by files and papers. Central drawer is empty. Okay. I understood the driver's choice of route when we approached the prison from the north. A large crowd was gathered for the public executions. Ugh. I asked him about the particular individual sentenced to the gallows as we passed, and he proceeded to tell me, at great length and with much relish, of the trial of one Mr. Emmanuel Barthélemy. I wondered if today was something special, or if the spectacle of death always attracts such crowds. Okay. The large central drawer closes. I heard a cheer go up from the top of the hill as we pulled to a stop in front of the flat. I shall not take this as an omen of any sort. Should listen to omens, dude. Omens are kind of a thing with stuff like this. Alright, what happens if I just type listen? Oh. Nothing unexpected can be heard. Cool. What I've seen of the place is modest, but I am not at all surprised considering what I am paying for. I intend to spend as little time here as possible, after all. Bedlam awaits me in the morning. Okay, and we wait. Time passes. A final note. It seems I left the majority of my unused cylinders at Bedfordshire. I shall have to write Yates and ask that he send them down, or perhaps seek out where I may purchase them locally. In the meantime, I shall refrain from making a phonograph entry until something truly momentous happens. Now, I think wait is just to pause, is just to take a pause and advance the step timer or counter or whatever. What actually, does this game have time? Not a recognized verb. Cool. All right. Having reached the end of the cylinder, the photograph shuts itself off with a tiny click. Okay. And the last one was March the somethingth. Ah, okay. March the 2nd. It seems the fates have listened closely and decided to give me a momentous occasion as quickly as possible. It was a month, dude! I am beside myself. Bedlam seems nothing more than a pit in which Her Majesty may place those she wishes to forget about. Such corruption dwarfs the imagination. There's this dude who thinks he's Napoleon, and another who says he's Picasso, and that guy hasn't even been born yet. Perhaps I overstate the case, but it was the simple ease with which the constable approached me that most horrified me, as if such things as this happen as a matter of course. Then the place has truly been in the hands of the mad for some time. I suppose I should have seen such things coming. The Insane Prisoners Act passed in '40 was vague enough that it could be used as a political tool, and MacNaughton's trial made it clear that the courts would do so when forced, but at least such things happened in the public eye. This is good. My predecessor clearly had some arrangement with the bobbies regarding cases such as these. James told me that he met often with the constable, although he was not privy to the content of these meetings. James. Oh, James' predecessor. Okay, right. Simply put, I was asked to make the prisoner in their charge disappear, and told that I would be well compensated for keeping things quiet. Part of me wishes I had put up more of a fight, had made an issue, or dramatic pause. But what choice have I? It has been made clear to me that keeping things quiet is precisely what is expected of me in my time in Bedlam. I have placed Cleve, whose preternatural silence, even as he struggled in his bonds, gave the entire proceeding a sheen of unreality, in the abandoned upper level of the northern wing. keeping the key separate from the rest. James showed it to me on my arrival and stated that it still remained secure, with only a few of the rooms were considered to be usable. Okay. So we have Cleve, or Clev, and we have the northwest, we have the northern wing. Still, perhaps this is a blessing in disguise. I have complete singular access to an interesting patient. Perhaps this is the study my opportunities have been waiting for. Perhaps this is the opportunity my studies have been waiting for. Oh my god, I could never keep an audio log of my own. I'm running out of cider. Having reached the end of the cylinder, the photograph shuts itself off with a tiny click. Ah, right. Fine. All right. So, cool. I don't know why I'm being so neat and tidy, but I just feel like I should. Like a proper Victorian dude. Okay. Okay. Point at self. The emerald flickers from head to toe before returning. Catastrophic error. A042. Category index out of range, stack overflow. Part ID Dr. Thomas Xavier, current operator. I guess that means I'm Dr. Thomas X. Huh. Okay. Gesture at rod. A small beam of green light lashes over the flanged brass rod as Triage's screen lights up. Category, non-living tool. Utility, key, unlock device. Particulars, panopticon key, corridor 6, upper. Place in panopticon stand to activate access. Oh, okay. So I've got panopticon key 6. Cool. Well, I don't think I need to scan the thing, but you know what? Category, unknown, unlisted. Util, not applicable. Part, particulars, none. Item is not recognized by current system store. Require additional information. I don't think it's a hint box so much as it is like the Hitchhiker's Guide in the Hitchhiker's Guide game. Although it does help. The machine analyzes the cedar desk before replying. Category, unknown, unlisted. Util, not applicable. Part, not recognized by current. Okay, so anything that that isn't important to it, it's just going to return this. I am interested to note that it has a sort of similar cursor key usage to Linux. Category non-living. Tool. Utility, recording, and playback of audio info. Part personal. Property of operator. Used for diary entry retrieval. Sorry, I need to look at the manual again. Okay, yeah. Basically, it's just going to look at it. Basically, it's a tool to look at stuff and tell me what it is. I did point at myself already, actually. That's how I found out that I'm apparently Dr. Thomas Xavier. Yeah, catastrophic error, category out of index, range stack overflow, particulars ID Dr. Thomas Xavier, current operator. So, yeah, I guess it should follow me around. Okay, so I guess we'll go to the south. The lobby. The walls and floor are clinical white tile and marble. However, the dim lights set above the echoing space hiss and pop fitfully, giving this small maze of desks and workspaces a tarnished, decaying look. Excuse me. Oh yeah, so gas lights. A set of solid gates lie opened and unlocked to the east and west. A small corridor runs northward, and from the south the bright light of day is visible through a set of glass doors. Behind the most prominent desk sits a nervous young man. Triage obediently appears. The doctor looks up and the corners of his mouth lift into a smile that is not quite strong enough to reach his eyes. Doctor, are you cold? Yes. The cold is familiar. Reach, feel, grab, possibility, probability. The echo of an echo, the reflection of words from here to the far wall of reality and back. Okie doke. Huh. Okay, so already I'm starting to wonder if I'm the guy who recorded these things. I don't think anything on the cylinders identified who was actually speaking. Or if they did, I've completely forgotten. All right, you had us all action positive, affirmative, destroying friction breaking ground growth, or destroying friction breaking growth, positive, yes. Do you mean the dim light glinting off the small badge he wears? James, assistant. Living growth function, further spreading, outward stretching. Yes, touching, yes. Jesus. Oh, it might be on the box. Yeah, I should look at the box again. Bethlehem Hospital. All right then, sir. And then he is nodding and returning to his seat, somehow both more and less nervous. Yes, done, yes. Cool. I'm crazy. No, the box doesn't identify who the journal belongs to. Examining James. He's easily no more than 20, with an unruly mop of black hair that continually gets in his eyes. The badge, set high near his collar, reads, James Houlihan, Assistant, Bethlehem Hospital. Ah, that's better. Ask James about triage. It was a favored tool of Dr. Brand. He would lock himself in his office and enter data into it for hours. Okay. Yes, let's point at James. Triage's beam flickers over James briefly, then displays cat, living, human, male, util, communication, possible by speech or written word, particulars, ID, James Houlihan, position assistant at Bethlehem. So, yeah, he's not telling me anything I don't already know. Okay. So let's see here. I know you said I don't need to, but I'm gonna anyway. It's mapping time. Lobby. So let's see. A set of solid gates lie open and unlocked to the east and west. Okay, so gates. A small corridor that goes northward. That would be north to my office, and south goes, I presume, outside. James shudders suddenly and then looks at you sheepishly. Hug James. Focus on the game. Oh, the game does not wish me to indulge in PDAs. Hold on, let's I need to check the Well, it's certainly a pleasure working with you, sir. James searches under his desk a moment for a lost pen. Oh, well, that probably made him uncomfortable. Ask James about Brand. He took his own life. I knew it. I fear the pressures of this place had gotten the better of him. He spent every waking moment here on his patience, this place. We must be vigilant, sir. So easy to get lost here. Okie doke. Let's ask him about the suicide. Oh! You've dropped a hint, game, without meaning to. Ask James about Cleve. Already in the grave, sir. I know nothing else about him. I've not looked at any of his files, per your instructions. Afraid I can't help you there, James sighs. I must admit, I thought the whole thing a bit odd, but it is your prerogative to treat special cases as you see fit, as did Dr. Brand. I don't want you to get the wrong idea, sir. He was a good man, an excellent doctor, regardless of what happened in the end. About what happened? I don't feel as though I'm qualified to answer that question, sir. I wonder if there's any more cylinders around. I don't know, sir. I don't know. James stares out into space for a long moment. Okay, let's ask him about his shutters. I don't know why he's so bloody nervous. So, what have we got so far? I'm a doctor. I'm assigned to Bedlam. I presumably am investigating what happened to my predecessor in the job. Hold on, let me... All right. Yeah, you'd be nervous too if your boss walked out and asked a bunch of questions. Yeah, yeah. This is... Yeah. So based... Snowfox said to think about why the puzzles are in the state they're in. So based on that, I'm guessing that this is the first time I've been in that office. And it was left in that state after what happened to Dr. Brand. Although, whatever happened to Dr. Brand probably didn't happen in that office. Otherwise, it would probably have been cleaned up. Why, I'm James, sir, your assistant. Perhaps you'd better sit down. I don't think you've quite recovered. Okay, so I've been thinking in weird analytical patterns. Sheesh. The abandoned desks are of no use. They contain nothing but dust. Yeah, well, what... Have you recovered from your fainting spell, sir? They've been frequent lately. Frankly, I've been quite worried. James bites his lower lip as he stamps out a set of forms. They've been getting worse, haven't they? Particularly over the last few days. I could tell. James looks at you nervously. I'm afraid I can't help you about the desks. Okay, so why are there so many abandoned desks here anyway? Ask James about love. I don't feel as though I'm qualified to answer that question, sir. I thought I'd get admonished to focus on the game again. Alright. Oh, there's a courtyard! Yay, court! Alrighty. This walled-off area sits at the bottom of a massive staircase which leads into the building to the north. At its base is a sign reading Bethlehem Hospital Administration. The outer walls meet here, meeting at the distant gates which sit to the southeast. Gates? Flanking the top of the staircase on either side are two colossal statues. A Hansom cab sits here with a tired old horse hitched to its front and its driver waiting patiently. When he hears footsteps clatter across the courtyard, the driver tilts his hat back and says, "Where to then, Doc?" with a smile. Triage obediently appears. Examining the statues. Human figures they are, bald and muscular, naked except for a stream of cloth about their waists, each lying against an arch of stone. The leftmost, melancholy, grips the ground beneath him with a look of placid despair. On the right lies Mania, struggling against his chains. Cheerful! Error. Parsing should have matched previous grammar line. What? Never mind. Never mind. We're going to go back north for the moment. Let's see. Let's go east. I said earlier that I don't like the name of this particular application. You can see it right down there in the corner. It's called Fraughts. Like, you know, frottage. The archives. Okay, so I need to get a dwarven hand grenade so I can blow these up. This room is mostly empty space. Good archive. The farthest wall is lined with gleaming brass pull file drawers and seems to go on infinitely in every direction. The entrance to the west opens onto a solid, dusty platform, which allows visitors to stand suspended above the unseen floor. At the end of the platform lies a pedestal, topped with a small, inverted onyx pyramid. Category, non-living, tool, utility, archive interface, part, physical, file, retrieval unit, activity activated upon input of file number / code via dial. Huh. Ballywick. Bailiwick. Oh, James. Okay, so I'll need file numbers to activate that thing. I don't think I've heard any file numbers so far. So let's hop over to the west for a second. Walkway. The slight wind whistles tunelessly against this mesh of steel, which arcs from one massive opened gate to another. A roof curves far overhead, enclosing both the block-like building to the east and the narrow tower to the west. Far below, an intricate set of sub-buildings can be seen, enclosed within the complex's outer wall. Triage silently approaches. Okie doke. Walkway and west. Circular chamber. The hum of machinery is ever present here, rumbling down into the subsonics. Pale walls encircle a series of engraved circles on the floor, and at the center, like the pupil of some great eye, sits a round console which reaches all the way up to the ceiling. The room's single exit lies to the east. I'm willing to bet this is the Panopticon. I can probably tell James to follow me. I'm not sure why I would. We'll find out. All right. Category unknown, unlisted. Util not applicable. Part particulars none. Item is not recognized, etc., etc., etc. Engraved circles with a big round console. Engraved circles surrounding a big round console in the middle. I just walked into the TARDIS. Category, non-living, tool utility, Panopticon, main console, capable of viewing any cell in hospital with both visual and audio output plus code storage. Okay. Examine the console. It is complex, divided into several discrete sections. Inside each panel is a diagram, a blueprint. A small slot for the dispensing of paper tapes lies beside it. Set above the diagram is a prism viewer complete with 2 handles. A set of brass listening tubes terminate on either side of the viewer. Okay. Getting that itchy ear feeling again. Alrighty, so what was the rod again? It was the panoptic. Panopticon key, corridor 6, place in Panopticon stand to activate or access. Okay. Look into viewer. Shaped much like a periscope, it contains a mirrored prism manipulated by the handles on either side. The viewer is currently dark, showing nothing. Okay. Alright. On the panel is a diagram. Okay. Examine the diagram. Intricate in its detail, it depicts a series of 24 corridors set about a circular room like the spokes of a wheel. Each corridor opens into 6 rooms, 3 on each side, with one exception. A hall at 3 o'clock instead connects to a building labeled Administration. At the center of the circular room is a keyhole. Beside it is a 2-headed arrow pointing up and down. Beneath the blueprint is a series of buttons, 6 labeled A through F and one with an inverted triangle from which 6 small lines emerge. None of the buttons is currently depressed. Good, means the treatment is working. The administration building and its connecting corridor are lit up from underneath, as is the upward head of the 2-headed arrow. Oh boy. "24 corridors set about a circular room. Oh, no. No, 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 no. I do not want to have to learn how to manipulate that many things. Let's see. Also, 24? Holy cow. Oh dear, I must have made a mistake. The brass rod slips easily into the keyhole. Then, of its own accord, it begins to turn, first clockwise, then counterclockwise. The floor rumbles for a moment. There is an odd sense of movement. The light beneath the administration and its connecting corridor goes out. A corridor at 12 o'clock lights up as the key stops moving, as does its northeast room. The button labeled A clicks down and begins to glow. The room seems to have subtly changed. Pain! A cacophony fills the room, a hideous screeching echo. Chaos random hurt! It continues, emanating from the listening tubes, a metallic, repetitive thrum, the sound of an insect grown to the size of a lion. No sense, no sense, no sense. Random, 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 no sense, no sense. Echo on top of echo on top of echo, resounding through the tubes, the room, the halls. A numbness spreads from arm to hand to finger. Stop, no, stop, make... A solid thunk makes itself barely heard above the noise, and then silence. Stop. The button B is now depressed and glowing, the one beside it now dark, as is the eastern room of the lighted corridor. What happens if I press A again? No! The cold again, and a numbness of the hands, an inability to resist. The sound of 3 drips of water falling in quick succession comes floating across the console. Alright, shaped much like a periscope, and it contains a mirrored prism manipulated by the handles on either side. The viewer is lit, showing the following scene. A room slowly filling with water. A broken pipe lies at one end, slowly dripping into an ever-growing pool. A stuck and broken door lies on the western side. Head tilt. Okay. Take the rod. As the rod slides from its home, the floor rumbles for a moment. There's an odd sense of movement. All of the lights on the blueprint go out, and then the light beneath the administration and its connecting corridor flickers back to life. The room seems to have subtly changed. So that's the pano. Okay, so we'll ask him about the last case. Does not feel as though he's qualified to answer that question. Outside his bailiwick. If you don't mind me saying so, I think you've perhaps been overexerting yourself of late. I worry, sir. James carefully fills out a set of forms, then files them. Hum. Humming is not a recognized verb. Okay. Number input via dial, output via paper tape display. Okay. Category, unknown unlisted, etc., etc. Okay. So I need to find something to ask about. Welp. Okay. Phonograph is fixed in place. Okay, so I can't steal it and find something underneath. Tidying is not a recognized verb. You achieve nothing by this. I would have a cleaner desk and feel better. It's all about self-care. I'm just asking him so many questions about basic knowledge that I should know. It's no wonder he thinks I'm crazy. Okay. Well. Well, in the interest of not being stuck and bored... Southeast. Mooresfield is bustling with activity this time of day, and evidence of such can be heard as the gates draw closer. Voices piled upon voices, echoing through the streets and alleyways. Many voice minds, too? The first streets become visible, masses of humanity moving about. Over two numbers spreading thing far too. Machines, horses, minds, voices, and cold. A freezing that locks the legs, that slows and stops. No, hurt many echo far, no. Yes, this is better. Pulling back, away, not towards. Towards warmth and sanity. Yes, back, hide. Yes, now, only hide. The driver's voice suddenly echoes across the courtyard. Sir? No need to go out into that then, sir. I'm at your service. Okay. Right, ask driver. Betsy, her name is. She's old enough. She's old, that's true enough, but there's life in her yet. Oh, good for Betsy. The old eyes blink balefully once before turning away. Perhaps she wishes to be left alone. Or maybe she just doesn't want to say anything bad in front of her boss. Okay. Ask driver about home. It's a nice enough area, sir. Although I must say, being in the shadow of the gaol can't be all that pleasant, can it? So I guess that's where my house is. The driver gestures to the cab's interior, waits a moment, then nudges the horse forward with a clicking noise and a shake of the reins. Distance, space-time, further, touch more. In the shadow of the cab's interior, the cold comes once again. Grow, learn, reach, seed, exchange, expand. What's that? Sounded strange there for a moment, you did. Divide, copy, one, many, one. Vibrations, passing through the cold into the surround air, escaping as sound. Yes, success, more. As Reggie pulls the cab to a stop, he calls down. What was that you said, sir? Sounded like something foreign. Never could understand why English folks can't stick to the Queen's English. That fancy talk always hurt my ears. Bit silly if you ask me. Unless, well, if you want to dance with the Green Fairy, of course that's your business, sir. Outside flat 2D in hansom cab. This small empty road lies at the base of a small hill. It is lined with thin buildings, many advertising flats to let in their windows. Excuse me. The one directly north contains a door labeled 2D. To the west is a massive stone edifice that is the Newgate goal. A gallows prepared for tomorrow's public execution towers over the street. Outside, flat 2D. This small, empty road lies at the base of a small hill. It is lined with thin buildings, many advertising flash to let, etc., etc., etc. The goal. Okay. Apparently Betsy is not worth analyzing. I keep trying to use Cabby and it just doesn't work. The machine analyzes Reginald's before replying. Okay, let's just stop screwing around and open the door. Yeah, it doesn't recognize anything about it. It's not important. Okay. Flat 2D. Despite being small and cluttered with bits and pieces of electronics, this one-room flat gives the impression of being quite clean and hygienic. No dust or dirt lurk in its bright corners. The east wall holds a mirror, important, and is neatly lined with evenly spaced picture frames. Huh? A large table, clearly a workshop space, takes up the west wall beneath an arched window. A shadow stretches lazily from the window across the floor. The flat's single exit lies to the south. Triage silently approaches. There's a shadow on the floor? The elongated shadow of Newgate's noose crawls slowly across the wood floor. Cheery! Look in the mirror. 3 heavy oak frames line the wall beside the mirror, each containing a picture. A young man standing proudly outside Charing Cross Medical School, a formal photo of a junior rugby team with the same young man in the third row, and an older version of the man smiling from a gaggle of classmates on graduation day. The man in each picture is a shadow of the face reflected in the mirror. Oh, I get the same thing if I type examine self. Cool, I used to be on the rugby team, y'all. Much of the heavy wooden tabletop is obscured by a large magnetophone. At one corner of the table is a paperback book lying beside a small trade card. Wait, what? Did they just give me the same apartment as the previous doctor? What the hell is going on here? Okay. No, not that one. Examine the paperback. The book is open to a marked page labeled Troubleshooting Your Magnetophone, a Home User's Guide. Problem: nothing happens when I turn my magnetophone on. Be sure your magnetophone is hooked up to a viable power source and that the power source is active. If you are sure your power source is active, toggle your switch. Turn it off and then turn it on again. Problem: all I hear is static, or I can hear other operators but they can't hear me speak, or they do not answer. To broadcast, be sure to depress the transmit button each time you wish to speak. While the transmit button is not depressed, your magnetophone acts as a receiver, not a transmitter. Also, be sure to use proper etiquette while operating your magnetophone. To let another operator know you wish to make contact, press the transmit button and use the universally accepted phrase calling CQ. If you fail to use this code, other operators may believe they are picking up the middle of an alternate conversation and will not respond for fear of interrupting. Problem: I hear static and voices, but they are faint and indistinct. Magnetophone customers living in highly populated urban areas may experience transmission interference due to the presence of large buildings, crowded streets, and pollution. You may try to alleviate this problem by placing the magnetophone by a clear opening, such as a window. If this does not fix the problem, you may need to purchase one of several amplification devices designed to fit in your machine's expansion slot. Neat. Examining the card. A trade card depicting a smiling, smartly dressed gentleman with a small black box on wheels by his side. It reads, Modern Office Marvel. Mom. The Triage Mark III TM is the marriage of professional efficiency and understated elegance. Its sleek onyx casing... I am allergic to sleek onyx casings. Where was I? Its sleek onyx casing houses a mechanical brain capable of rapid data retrieval and analysis. Pre-programmed with an encyclopedia's breadth of knowledge, the Triage Mark III is every businessman's friend. Savvy executives may choose to order the stunning ivory data entry device, sold separately to expand and customize their Triage's library. Available at Dumont's, mechanist of repute since 1803. 1428 Fleet Street, Smithfield Market, London. On the opposite side of the card is a handwritten note. Bill of sale, 1 etheric amplifier to be picked up, paid in full. Order 5208. Dumond. The magnetophone. A stout metallic box approximately 2 feet long by a foot deep. On its side is a small label which reads Wheatstone Cook Ether Magnetophone Company, beneath which is a small closed panel. Its front contains a simple toggle switch and a button labeled Transmit, and the long graceful curve of a Signet speaker. At its back is a small valve connected to a rubber tube which trails along the floor. Yeah, it was... The credits said it was entering a competition, so... Ah. So, if Dr. Brand is the guy that killed himself, am I the guy that took over? I really don't know what's going on right now. Useless bibs and bobs. No two are alike and all scattered about the place. Okay, we'll go south. Ah, the recordings are mine. Good, so I'm crazy. We knew that, but it's good to confirm it. At least I know who I am now. Well, I've nuked my memories, and that's one thing, but I'm also hearing voices that sound analytical and other, which, is not necessarily a positive sign. Okay, so we need to go to 1428 Fleet. Okay. The driver gestures into the cab's interior. Wait, let me put that back on. The driver gestures back into the cab's interior, waits a moment, then nudges the horse forward with a clicking noise and a shake of the reins. The trip feels none too comfortable, but at least the cab's interior gives some insulation against the tumult of London. Before long, the cab slows and the driver announces the reached destination. Smithfield Market, in the hansom cab. While this is merely the outskirts of the market, its presence still threatens to overwhelm the senses. The smell of an abattoir, the din of 1,000 voices shouting, and the sight of masses of humanity talking, shopping, and selling. The only quiet in the din lies southward towards Fleet Street. Well, I said go Fleet Street. This is going to hurt. Exit the cab. Set off to one side of the market, this area is reserved for a myriad of specialist shops: uniform clothiers, engine programmers, fortune tellers. Engine programmers and fortune tellers. Yeah. The largest, set on the south side of the street, is decorated with a gaudy sign which reads, Dumon's, Mechanists of Repute since 1803. Along the same building to the southeast lies a small door which reads simply 1428. Side corridor. This narrow, dusty corridor runs parallel to the shop beside it and contains nothing more than a rickety staircase leading up and down and a small door leading west. Okay. Weird. The stairs end here at a rickety door labeled 1428 Attic Loft, leading eastward. Okay. With a screech of breaking wood, the door kicks in easily enough. Cool. Tiny attic flat with barely enough room for a small sink and a tub to one side, a living area in the center, and a bed to one side. Steam tubes snake through the living area to the tub and basin, and from there into the wall. The ceramic is cracked and worn to a dull gray color. Examine the bed. An old, sour-smelling thing with twisted sheets. Beneath it, the planks seem misplaced. Ooh. Beneath the planks is a puzzle box, about the size of a book. No, not a puzzle box. It is approximately the size of a large bound book. It is a puzzle box of some kind, for it seems to have a seam along its side, and there is no way to open or unlock it. Its top is inscribed with a beautiful engraving of a tree. Triage. Work it out for me. The machine analyzes the puzzle box before replying. Category non-living. Tool utility storage. Part Particulars, complex mechanism detected. Engraving and writing, Kabbalah, Tree of Life, Yggdrasil, buttons equals Sephiroth. The tree is huge, covering the whole of the box. Its roots trail downward into a dull red glow, while its upper branches are bathed in a white light. A series of raised buttons overlays each tree, each with a word inscribed on it. Generally, from top to bottom, they read Kether, Bina, Shakma, Guavra, Chesed, Hod, Teperoth, Netzach, Yesod, Malkuth. I'm gonna have to read up on my mythology again, because I don't remember how you get Sephiroth out of this. Terrific. Kabbalic magic. My favorite. There was an Alan Moore comic called Promethea, which started out as kind of a what if Wonder Woman, but she's the embodiment of whatever pulp heroine comes from whatever particular era she lives in. And so it's like a legacy title that gets passed along, which was sort of interesting until the very long section where she suddenly gets sidetracked into a long quest up the Kabbalic Tree of Life. Written by Alan Moore, go figure. Is Sephiroth the top? Or is Sephiroth the hidden one that's sort of in the middle between two of them? I think Sephiroth was the 5th. So hold on, let me see if I can brute forth this. And Hod would be Hod. Shoot. Okay. Was worth a shot. Alright, let's go west. Oh, sorry. So, south? North? There we go. Go to Dumon's. The Dumon's! That makes little sense. You're right, it doesn't. Cool. Dumon's. The shop is dark, crowded with haphazardly stacked yet neatly organized piles of machinery. To the south there is a worn wooden counter, cracked with age and covered with innumerable nicks, scratches, and dark burn marks. Behind the counter are rows and rows of drawers, labeled in some arcane script. The faint scent of gas clings to the walls. The shop's show window and door look out on Fleet Street to the north. A second door lies behind the counter to the east. A woman leans over the counter, working on something with intense concentration. Triage silently approaches. It becomes easier this time. More coldness, frightening. The coldness frightening in its familiarity. Yes, more, please. Yes, more, plant, quest, further, grow, yes. It's faster, too, somehow more efficient. Sound, noise, voice, calling, greeting, grasping. A trickle becoming a break, becoming a rush. Expansion, augmentation, increasing maturity. It finishes its unfolding, collapsing backwards, inwards. Complexity, investigation, more, yes, more. Whatever it is either very scientific or very young, because it wants to know everything. The woman looks up suddenly, her eyes huge ovals magnified 5 times by their normal size by monocles squinted tightly in each eye. She opens them wide, releases the monocles, and drops them into an already bulging shirt pocket. She straightens, wiping her hands on a dirty rag. Her greasy shirt sleeves are rolled up to the elbows, and an ill-fitting thick trousers pool and disappear into the tops of her workman's boots. She smiles thinly. No, sorry, sir, I didn't catch what you said. Sometimes when I'm concentrating that hard, everything outside my head sounds like gibberish. I really need to stop saying that weird, rambling crap aloud. Dumont. Alexandra Dumont. Owner, proprietress, and chief mechanist. I'd shake your hand, but she holds a greasy hand up apologetically. Dumont places the piece on the counter and looks at it angrily for a moment. With a frown, she reclaims it and continues her work. Okay, nothing important is accomplished by examining the counter. Okay, let's see. Alright, Dumont takes the card and fumbles in her pocket for her monocle. Eyepiece in place, she scrutinizes it. Her face relaxes into an open smile. Sorry I didn't recognize you, sir. I do a good trade here, and lots of folks in and out. I have no memory for faces. Just a moment. She fiddles under the counter, her movement bringing about the clang and bang of metal on metal. Here it is, sir. Should fix your reception problems straight away. She places a small module on the counter and sets back to work. A small black module that fits easily in the hand. On one side, its smooth surface reads Cook Etheric Amplifier Module. On the other, only 2 small pins are visible. Wait, hold on. Huh. Okay. Alright, we're back in Bedlam. Let's go north. Damn it, what day is it? I suddenly realized that I have absolutely no idea what day it is. You're being awfully quiet, chat. I suppose I could ask for the game for a hint. But let's just go home. Open the panel. Insert module. Intria. Okie doke. Let's see. Plug in module. For fricks. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. The etheric amplifier. Cool. Okay, so, right, okay, I've got the magnetophone, okay. Magnetophone cannot be turned on. Does that mean it's always on? That's weird. Examine the tube. Black with a diameter for a few inches, it snakes along the floor to vanish a few feet into a hole in the wainscoting. Okay. Alright. Okie doke. What was that phrase again? Calling CQ? Is the blasted thing even on? Ah. So I can't hold the transmit button down. Hold down, transmit. I only understood the desire to hold the floor. What? Okay. That's an interesting possible hint for something later. I'm super confused. Hmm. Why does it have to be magnetophone? Oh, okay. There we go. I'm going to get real sick of typing magnetophone. Screw this. Okay, opening the valve. A quiet hiss emanates from the valve as it turns, and the tubing gives a small shudder. The rubber piping connected to the back of the machine convulses for a moment, a wisp of steam escaping from within it. From within comes a low whirring which slowly increases in pitch and volume. From out of the magnetophone's horn comes a soft echo of static. As solid voices become discernible from out of the constant static, a sudden chill descends. Heart touch other grow? A stretching outwards, a growth. Real, blind, empty, null, where? A stumbling, confusion. No, false, unreal, distant, phantom, no! The cold recedes. Is this going to turn into a parable about how online relationships aren't real? I just want to be clear. Okay, the transmit button releases with an audible pop. Several voices emerge from the magnetophone speaker at once. Receiving Lawn 4GC. Earring you identifies Xerxes yellow, zebra, zebra yellow. Well enough to... Here, CQ, go ahead. Walk before I got one out of those public Hanson cabs. Those men who drive them, they're lunatics. Turn the thing over as soon as it turn a corner. I've seen men crushed, and all the driver cares is the condition of his cab. Flash of her ankle. Disgusting, if you ask me, a machine killing a man. And I heard it was designed by that woman, you know, the strange one on Fleet. Over. Ooh. Ooh. Campus is lovely. If it were not for the insufferable professors and classes, it would be almost paradise. Like that line from Clerks, right? This job would be great if it weren't for the customers. I think the throne will adopt ether technology. They resolutely hold to the old ways. This is... Finding a good scullery maid. Can you recommend one? Hold on. Good to hear your voice again, Cyril. How are your travels? Bag an elephant? In London, 18 degrees centigrade, winds rising to the north. Scotland Yard refuses to comment on the accusations that the Crown itself is somehow involved. Match was the worst I've seen in ages. A voice rises out of the static, then fades away before it makes itself clear. CQ. tunnel under the channel. Can you imagine? Steam or not, they'll all drown. You won't catch me in there. Only women who work are loose women. Just because my daughter can program an engine doesn't mean I should allow such a display. Hello? Damn! A mutter. Blast you, you infernal... An angry shout. Hello? My wife gave me this magnetophone as a gift to help me relax. I think she may be trying to kill me. Okay, well... It's 10 o'clock, and we've managed to connect our amnesiac doctor to the internet. So that's a start. Let me see how this works here. So we'll just save the game. Point remembering save, store, safe keep. So, okay. Yeah, so the computer apparently is stuck inside my brain too. Okay, I think that's going to be all for tonight. I've found one ending. This is an ending? Are you kidding me? Since they moved from Tyburn to Newgate. I missed the pump, sure, but it's too far to travel. Okay. Okay, I've gone outside. Before the gallows, set directly beside the towering walls of the Newgate goal, the scaffolding staircase rises northwards, leading up to a small, wide stage. Above, the noose sways gently in the breeze. The slow dip of the road takes the road eastward and down to where the hansom cab waits. Triage rolls silently to a stop. I got the amplifier, yes. I got the amplifier. I put the amplifier in. I closed the panel. Perfectly right, they should be public. We can't catch all the offenders, so we must make an example out of those who we do to discourage more crime. My boy is 5. I'm taking him to his first hanging tomorrow. Ugh. It's possible that I should have gotten an ending, but I might not have done everything I could. Yeah. As I was saying, though, I think that's a good amount of exploration for the night. I transmitted calling CQ. I haven't transmitted anything else. Gentle ladies are up in arms as their wallpaper, terribly dear and lovingly hung, peels slowly down the walls due to their many steam-powered devices. Hooray! as I was saying a couple of times now, I think that's it for the stream for tonight. I'm gonna have to do a little more digging. I have to look up what Sephiroth is outside the context of a Final Fantasy game, for starters. And yeah, this is an interesting one. I dig the atmosphere, although I snark because it is my job and my personality. We're gonna come back to this next week, definitely. And yeah, this is. I feel like this is a good creepy choice for a near Solstice Eve. So, thank you guys for coming out, and yeah, we'll see you all next week. Have a good one.